I think sharing my story, I hope to instill hope in people that if you are in this or have a friend or family member, a loved one in a relationship like this, that there is always a way out and that CVIC can be that resource. Growing up in our house, I was never exposed to any form of abuse, whether that be mental, emotional, physical. We were just a typical Midwest family.
In her class, they called her Mama B. So yes, she always was taking care of people.
We've been childhood friends. I met her when we were 5 years old, and we stayed friends since.
So she's, counseling all the girls and then counseling all the boys.
I just think I was always like taking care of people, or if they had problems, they would come to me. I would help talk them through that.
And growing up, Sarah was full of energy. Everybody loved to be around her. She was fun. Lots of fun.
It was, in my mind, it was like, if this can happen to Sarah, it really could happen to anybody.
Well, she had moved out to Maine, and she called me and said, I met this guy. I really like him. And then so my mom and I flew out to go meet him.
And I thought, this must be that fairy tale life.
He was very charming.
He seemed like a nice guy.
You just become blinded to some of those small red flags. At the moment you think they're small, but you're really not seeing those things.
You would never guess that about him.
It was really his show, how he wanted things done, what we were gonna do, what I was gonna wear, who I was gonna hang out with, where I was gonna work, what I was gonna do with my life, when I was gonna have a baby.
Good thing they came back here. Good thing she got a job here, because he really would have liked to have just had her there.
We'd come to her house and hang out, and then we'd have to leave at certain times.
She wouldn't answer my phone calls. I rarely heard from her.
Really put a strain on relationships early on because people were cut out of my life.
It was almost like you put a lid on her.
I did see some changes, like I said.
It was really hard to imagine her in such a horrible space because she did make it look okay.
Isolating that partner is often the first thing they do.
Sarah and I met in the hospital. We were brand new nurses working. We both had just completed our RN degrees.
After Jordan was born, things really escalated, and it's because the attention couldn't be just on him. I had another person to take care of.
Her spunky personality had kind of dwindled a little bit. I probably didn't recognize all the signs of the verbal abuse. I just thought, well, we're tired, we're moms.
This is a hidden form of abuse where it's inside, it's secret, it's emotional, mental.
Right after she had her son, she had had a C-section, and we went to her house.
She had to clean everything in the house perfect. He would crawl around and pick up lint off the carpet.
But she was on her hands and knees cleaning the floor. And so looking back on it, it was like, holy, this is not probably what she should have been doing.
So at the beginning, things were not physical. When I was ready to leave my home, things turned physical.
It has opened my eyes, because the person that you wouldn't expect the most, somebody who has it all put together, who has great degrees, has a wonderful son, that's not who you would expect to be in an abusive relationship.
I got very scared. I remember going down the stairs with Jordan as an infant. We hid in the basement bedroom, and he had taken the keys, so I knew I didn't have a way out of the house. And then I just looked at my son. I said, I'm gonna get you out of here. I don't know when. I didn't look like I had been beaten or hit all the time. And so I had to prove that something bad was happening in this house. So I did set up recorders I actually had from nursing school so I could start getting some audio recordings. I was scared no one would believe me.
There were things that I would witness, like I said, if we go out to eat, and there would be multiple phone calls, like, when are you coming home?
We had a nursing conference out in Bismarck, and there was a national speaker, and she talked about specifically nurses being prone to abusive relationships because of their personalities. That was an aha moment for me, I think, where I'm like, okay, this is me. Things had escalated since that January, and he started throwing things at me. And I just knew, I'm like, I can't take this anymore. And so the first person I called was my sister.
Oh, I felt terrible. And I was like, how can someone live like this?
And then the next person I called was Ann Mason.
Was it surprising? Yes, just because she was ready to be done, right? Not surprising because we had known that things weren't good.
So when I walked into my parents' home and told them all of this, I think it was shocking, but yet not. I think there were things that now made sense.
You kind of can't believe that it's happening. And then you can't believe that it's happening to your family.
But I did believe her. It's just so much happens so fast.
What a hard decision to make, because here you are making a decision to leave. She had no idea what that was going to mean financially. She had no idea what that meant for Jordan. She had no idea what that meant for the future, but what she knew is that that's not the life that was right for her or for her son.
And I'm actually proud that she was strong enough to tell us, because it's not an easy thing to do.
Things just then kind of spun out of control as we were leaving.
It was very scary at first. It was the police, because he drained accounts.
Dad and I had went to the police station to file some type of report. And before we decided to go ahead and do what would have been a restraining order or protection order, we were guided to go to CVIC. I had a moment where I felt really stuck. It was a really dark moment. When I think about CVIC in that moment, if no one was going to believe me, they would believe me.
And this was a situation where we were just outside our reality.
And I met with a therapist there, and so we did kind of a counseling session first. We were guided that, maybe a protection order wasn't the next step we were going to take, because there is fear when you're doing that protection order that that person escalates their behavior.
I didn't fully move in, but I would sit in the recliner by the front door and do my homework and put pots and pans on the doors and windows and make sure we could hear if anybody tried to get in.
There was a lot that went on that made it fearful. He almost turned to like a stalking form.
I was scared for her. I mean, there was times I'd ride my bike on the path right outside and he'd be walking by.
He also knew and was watching everything that was going on in the home. I'd get a message saying, you were at our house today, you dropped off diapers.
Having those supports in place, both for my family and friends that were there, CVIC, the police station, the community, that really helped me.
Her life changed after that.
I definitely believe that God knew what he was doing when he brought Aaron into her life, right? That sparkle in Sarah came back. The dancing, singing, loving Sarah was back 100%.
We're a package deal, and he took it on. The day that Aaron was able to adopt Jordan, and then Jordan have that same name as us, that was just a really special moment.
Jordan would have had a different last name, and he had the same last name as us. Jordan was my son all along. He looks like me, so it's been just a seamless, easy transition. No one had a clue.
Everything that Sarah has done professionally, personally, Aaron is by her side. It's, yes, move forward.
This does not define Sarah. This was a small portion of her life that was very difficult, but she got through it.
The support over all of these years doesn't stop when the abuse stops. The support has gone on for 20 years because that's when she needs us the most. She has an amazing family, wonderful kids. So yeah, this has not defined her at all. I feel like with this story, she is in the best place that she possibly can professionally, working in a university setting as a nurse practitioner.
Patients I see where I'm even referring them to CVIC at UND. That has all come full circle as well.
And I feel like she takes on a lot of stuff because she wants to help people.
I'm involved with TEARS, which is a suicide prevention and awareness group through Ultra Health System.
It's just fun to see Sarah run at peak Sarah.
Sarah has turned something so hard into something truly incredible.
If someone is going through this, that they know they're not alone and there is always a way out.